we go.
Take it away, gentlemen.
Take it away, gentlemen.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Polka DeFiance event. Thank you so much for joining us. And I want actually to take a little advantage of being on the organization side. And let me firstly thank all our partners who helped very much to put this together, specifically Cointelegraph and the Polkadot DeFi Alliance. Special thanks to my teammates, Emily, guys on the marketing team, also all speakers, panelists. Special thanks to Peter Maurik, who is moderating today's event, and thanks to you guys for joining us today and watching this broadcast. So maybe here's the right point for me to introduce myself, give you a bit color on my background. So I'm Alex. I'm engineer in applied mathematics, and I'm the founder and CEO with the Equilibrium team. So at Equilibrium, we're building the first interoperable conglomerate of various DeFi products, and it's actually comprised of the comprehensive lending platform, and the sort of professional grade decentralized exchange, everything cross-chain, and delivers the functionality of I believe all DeFi primitives we have currently on the market, whatever you can imagine. And actually we're the part of Substrate's Builders Program by Parity Technologies. We are the recipients of 2 grants by Web3 Foundation. The second grant that we got recently is actually supporting our development of the Substrate-based version of the Curve protocol, which is super excited. And yeah, so we recently also announced the collaboration with the Curve team. They are supervising this development, and expectedly they will be running this technology on top of our parachain.
Alex, if you want to just dive in a bit into the latest, greatest with Equilibrium while we figure out how to get Kevin back on, I think we can sort of fill the air.
Yeah, absolutely, sure. I would love to share some updates on our latest achievements. Like I already mentioned our recent collaboration with the Curve team. Maybe also some details on our development roadmap. So you probably know, guys, that we have launched both the main nets and the test nets, and on the test nets you can try out our core business logics, which is up and running there. And maybe what's the most exciting here, that's recently we have launched the Ethereum bridge, which is currently bridging the testnets of Ethereum, Rinkibai, and our testnets, and it's actually running pretty smoothly. You also can try it out and get hands-on on our website and our sort of testnet version of our products. By that, I actually wanted to emphasize that we are getting ready for the production stage, and actually, like, the overall system design was actually outlined like that. So we basically wanted to build the system which can be launched as a standalone substrate, and from our standpoint, it's crucially important for us to have the product line that we're building bridged with Ethereum first as the biggest DeFi ecosystem so far. So maybe just besides our achievements and what we have built and so on and so forth, I also highlight some aspects. We definitely wanted to cover that on our fireside chats with Kevin, like highlight some specifics behind Equilibrium and how exactly, like which advantages Equilibrium brings on the table. So first of all, like maybe like just broad strokes explain what exactly Equilibrium is. I already mentioned that is the first conglomerate of DeFi products. To dig like on the level deeper what exactly that means, I wanted to say that, like, okay, so it's basically the technology which is uniting all sustained DeFi use cases, including pooled lending, decentralized stablecoins, synthetic assets, also margin trading, and we were planning to launch the futures markets as well. So it might sound like we have a lot of things on our plate to develop. However, the cool thing here that all these sort of products that I mentioned are strengths on the core technology, on the core system components, which are underpinning all these products. And what's maybe the most exciting, that we are not replicating any of existing DeFi concepts from Ethereum, because we are bringing a lot of innovation in this space. Oh, Kevin is here. So I was telling some more details on our product line and products. So yeah, Kevin, are you back with us?
Yes, I had to get on my phone, so I'm terribly sorry.
Yes.
We're back.
Right.
Sorry for everybody. I'm not sure what's happening, but I can do this on my phone.
No worries, mate. It's awesome to have you back. We actually interrupted on your intro, so probably you go for that once again.
Yeah, sure. Anyways, so I'm a partner. I'm a general partner at Dragonfly Capital. We're a global first VC based out of SF in Beijing. I think we're known to be very entrepreneur-centric and hands-on investors, and we're lucky to have met and worked with some of the great founders that are very early into DeFi and centralized finance. We were in the Series A of Compound. Very early on to Maker, helps guys like 1inch, Bybit, and OKX starts. And we're excited about the Polkadot ecosystem. We've not traditionally done a ton here, but I'm excited to learn and to do this with everyone. That's it. And I guess I'll kick off the problem, Alex, so we can have a proper discussion.
Yeah, sure. Go for that.
Yeah, so I think we're talking about problem of fragmentation from a liquidity and user perspective on DeFi, and I think the root of this problem really exists because of a beautiful property of DeFi and crypto and everything we're building here. Here everything exists on a permissionless and open network. So today, anyone can innovate on finance, launch a product, and reach a global audience with almost no fixed cost. And also as a result of the above, plus the fact that everything in this space is pretty much open sourced, you've had a Cambrian explosion of protocols. So today, we have different layer ones like Polkadot, ETH. There's going to be different layer twos on ETH, by the way, some of which are not going to be interoperable. We're going to have many categories of protocols like, centralized exchanges, lending protocols, synthetic assets, and these are just to start. And many protocols under each category. So, whether it's on ETH, it's on Polkadot. So I think, as a result, if you were to look at the space holistically, most users, probably suffer from or have like a choice paralysis, right? And then the protocol themselves don't have the ideal liquidity to serve all the users well, because there's tens of protocols doing almost the same thing. And so while all this innovation and there's tons of great stuff happening, I think we just need to channel the innovation better, make it more friendly to users in order to achieve mass adoption. And that brings us to you, Alex. How do you think we go about solving this problem of fragmentation?
Yeah, so look, definitely the problem you brought up definitely exists, and I think that it has actually two coin sides. So the first is the financial side of things. I already mentioned the fragmentation of liquidity. However, I think that the second coin side of that is the sort of technical side of things, right? And maybe here's the right point to tell the story behind our path to the Polkadot development in our Equilibrium team. So some of you guys who are familiar with our sort of backgrounds, that we were building on multiple protocols. We started off the development in 2017 with building on Ethereum. Then we shifted to EOS and built the decentralized stablecoin there called USDT, which is the most liquid stablecoin to the date on EOS, by the way. But at some point, we're thinking of further sort of product development and product evolution. And we thought like, okay, so what if it will come to building something on the new sort of blockchain platform? What if we decide to build per se, I don't know, on Tezos, for example? Does it mean that we need to roll out all the business logics once again, like build it from scratch on whatever, per se, Michelson technology or something like that? And definitely that is like, embracing more blockchain platforms in this way actually brings up a bunch of development efforts, and actually it's doubling the development efforts you need to put into that. So from this standpoint, like we actually came to the idea that it will be awesome to roll out the core technology on the decent platform, which delivers the cross-chain interoperability out of the box. And eventually we can like connect all the necessary sort of blockchain universes with our core technology via bridges or via some, connections. And definitely like the Polkadot technology is, I believe, the most advanced solution here. So that's actually how we came to the idea of building, the technological side of things, like technical side of things, implementing everything on Polkadot, but simultaneously definitely solves the financial fragmentation, the fragmentation of liquidity that you, Kevin, mentioned. Yeah. So this is how I envisioned that, and yeah.
Cool. I think it definitely makes sense on, from a technical and layer one perspective, but there's also like, thinking about it from a product and a business model perspective, right? So I think, at a high level, if I were to just look at the space today, how like, what are people doing to solve like liquidity problems? And to me, it's like really, you have two approaches here. One is like being an aggregator. Another one's kind of like being a platform / like, you're like a mix between a platform and a conglomerate. And, I think, I guess like if I was to name two protocols that do these things well, right? It's like, if I think about an aggregator or like a platform, actually like a platform or a conglomerate, you kind of think about Yearn, right? And its ecosystem partners. You can do like yield aggregation. There's a DEX on there, insurance, and a ton of other things. And really there, I think the name of the game is trying to achieve maximum capital efficiency across all the functionalities and bring everything under one roof. And then on the other side, you have things like 1inch, which they just aggregate the best prices and give you the best liquidity. They're not necessarily, they don't have control over the different exchanges, but obviously they're able to make everything, aggregate everything to give the best result to the users. So I guess like that being said, like, what do you think about the two approaches from kind of a product or business side, and how do you think about tackling these issues?
Yeah, so look, I think that both approaches make sense, and in different industries, actually, this approach have certain applications. So, for instance, the approach of aggregation with regards to services or whatever is very much relevant, for example, to travel industry, right? Because we have all these travel aggregators like Booking.com, whatever, and definitely it doesn't make sense for a single standalone whatever hotel to launch its own booking system, right? When it comes to the blockchain industry, we also have a good examples here. Like for instance, you already mentioned 1inch. I should also give a shout out to our colleagues from Refinance, because they're also solving this problem of liquidity fragmentation via aggregating liquidity from various platforms. However, we actually, when we were thinking of building Equilibrium, we had the model of sort of conglomerates in mind, because we see the clear tendency here. For example, let's take MakerDAO, right? So they kicked off with the development of decentralized stablecoin, but eventually they ended up with building Oasis Exchange, and Oasis Exchange actually became quite quickly, by the way, one of the most liquid decentralized exchanges on Ethereum, right? And from our standpoint, this approach has more fundamental reasons rather than building sort of aggregation of liquidity, because when you're building aggregator, you're usually relying on some third-party technologies. But when you're building a how to say, like conglomerates of different products built on one technology, you can think of that like of how you can build that from scratch, right? And you can basically draw out some elegant architecture, like we did that at Equilibrium. Like in our case, basically all these products, they're leveraging each other, first of all, and secondly, they're obviously complementing each other, because and actually that's relevant to almost any sort of product based on this conglomerate approach, right? And we think that's like that creates some natural balance between liquidity pools, because, for instance, lending platform is obviously something that will drive liquidity on the platform overall, while the decentralized exchange, which we are building, which will be heavily leveraging these lending platforms and lending products that we have in our platform, and actually, like, from the practical perspective per se, the next step for us, since we have already implemented almost all the business logics on the side of the lending platform, the next step for us is building the spot market for our decentralized exchange. And that definitely will deliver the margin trading functionality out of the box, because it will be leveraging the functionality of lending platform right away. So this is kind of exciting. And definitely, like, from my standpoint, this is kind of stringing all these products on the sort of core technology. And in the long-term perspective, definitely it will bring a lot of advantages both to our users and to the ecosystem overall.
Yeah, I think those are some valid points. And if I was to summarize, or I guess at a higher level, it's really being able to package everything in a really great UI, and potentially provide better capital efficiency, and and eventually ending up with a better product for users, right? And one thing I thought that was kind of interesting listening to you was that if you have this conglomerate or platform approach, maybe there's a world where you can really get kind of a vortex of liquidity, like a black hole, because if you're a user, maybe there's no impetus now to leave to another platform to do different functionality, right? So because all the needs are served either by your partners, or you built them in-house, that probably results in more TVL. And because the way DeFi is engineered today, where TVL actually leads to less slippage rates and et cetera, maybe that leads to more users, right? And you have this cycle going. So I think that could be one of the we haven't seen this yet in DeFi, but maybe one of the surprising results of of you taking this approach. So I guess the jury's out. What do you kind of think of?
I totally agree with I totally agree with you. And actually the fact that we have, for example, this curve implementation, which will be eventually up and running on our parachain, it's also like complementing what we are building, like creating more sort of traction, will drive liquidity on our parachain, and eventually facilitate user acquisition. Simultaneously, like, we'll have more liquidity in our liquidity pools, and overall, like, it's all about the open market, which is uniting around one core technology. So we are actually at Equilibrium, we're taking the inspiration from the inefficiency of the current market. So you probably heard of the use case one when actually you can, for instance, if you want to trade the huge amounts of per se Ethereum for Bitcoin, you basically can eliminate slippage on these trades via swapping your Ethereum to as ETH on Curve, and then basically put it on Synthetics platform, and then swap it into SBTC and swap SBTC back, for instance, to WBTC. So for now, it represents a quite poor or say painful user experience. Actually, that's something that we're solving at Equilibrium by uniting that's everything under one umbrella. Yeah, seems like we're running out of time, right?
Yeah, let you guys run through a little bit here. We're going to start the next session in about a minute for the technical difficulties. Really appreciate the insight, Alex and Kevin. Thank you for speaking here today.